My church family's here, my pastor's here praying for me. Everybody here. So my son came in from Atlanta. I had to put that in, and my grandson. I'm very, very excited to have this privilege. And I'm going to tell a story that I created along with my sister Lillian Taylor, how my dream job came to an end. What in the world was I thinking when I decided to leave my dream job at the Chicago Board of Education? I had been teaching for a number over 20 years. Things was beginning to change. We had a few teacher strikes. Some administrative changes. I left the west side and came to the south side. And they was beginning to bring those computers into the system about that time. And it was a little difficult for us seasoned teachers to get a handle on that. That became a little problematic and hectic. Now I had been teaching reading, writing, arithmetic, science, social studies, music, art, all those things, and I thought this is a bit much. Maybe I should leave this to the younger generation. And then one day the principal came in and said, "Now, Mrs. Gladney, don't touch those children, don't hug them. Don't look at them too hard." And he said, "You know what? They do have the authority to call DCSF on you and make a report." I thought, this is getting to be a bit much. But things went on, and then one day the principal came in and said, "We got the answer. We have found the very program that's going to answer all the problems." Now, principals was a little disturbed about the unruly behavior. The reading scores were low. But he said, "You know what? We have found the program. A program that will have Johnny reading at or above grade level at the end of the year. Behavior problems will disappear." And that program was called This Star. Well, we worked with This Star for a couple of years, and before long, This Star was on the shelf with the rest of the programs. So we put This Star away, and after that I used Bright Star, Morning Star, Evening Star, Global Star, and all those stars. Well, things was going along pretty good, and my friend Evelyn and I decided we'd take us a cruise down in the Caribbean. Had a wonderful time. Came back to Chicago, was getting ready to start the fall off, and decided, "Oh, we're going to get this thing right now." We were full of vigor and hope. And I was outside over there. I live at 9th and Chappelle, outside in my yard working, and a teacher stopped, one of my neighbors, and said, "Velma, did you hear the news? They're offering an early retirement program." I said, "Oh no, I'm too young for that. I'm too young." After she left, I quickly went into the house, got myself dressed, and rushed down to 39th and Persian where that board of education was. That parking lot was the line going to the elevator. I stood in line and I made it to the 8th floor. I got up there and they told me about this new program, 5+5, where I could leave the system. Now they say if it sounds too good to be true, it just might not be true. I took those papers, went home, read them, sat down, and the next day, guess what? I was first in line at the motivation. Turned my papers in. I got home that night. I thought about it. I'm on the outside looking in. What about my financial obligations? How will I keep in touch with my friends? What am I going to do with each day? That night, I went to bed. And I don't know if it was a dream or a memory. But I dreamed I was sitting on Grandmama's porch in one of those rocking chairs, and she was telling stories to me. Folk tales, fairy tales, Bible stories, stories about the segregated South. And I remember she told me about that old farmer that got up and went for a walk one day, and he heard somebody say, "Help, help." He didn't see nobody. "Help, help." And he looked and it was a snake. And that snake said, "Help me. I'm cold. Would you put me in your pocket? I just want to get warm." And you know what? That farmer picked that snake up, went on down the road, and the heat from his body, he began to warm up, and he began to come to himself, and he said, "I'm going to bite you." The farmer said, I thought you said you were going to bite me." He said, "Now you know that's a snake when you put me in your pocket. You should have known better." And Grandmama said, "Now, Velma, be very careful in life about your choices you make. Don't go around picking up snakes, putting them in your pocket, because you know what? They just might bite you." And as I lay there, I had another memory. I remember being in grad school, and I did a presentation, and the teacher said, "Velma, you ought to be a storyteller." And then as I don't know if it was a memory or a dream or what, but I could see myself at 61st and Wabash at the Besserow School. I was sitting in the big chair, and I was reading stories to children. The little Red Riding Hood, the gingerbread boy, the three little pigs, and the children would always say to me, "Mrs. Gladney, read it again. Tell us another. Tell us another." And it was at that time I decided I would explore the wonderful world of storytelling. I began to scout out all the events around in the Chicagoland area, the Illinois Storytelling Festival, the Wild Onion Festival, anywhere I could see a storyteller. And then somebody told me, said there's a master storyteller right here on the south side of Chicago.
Come on now.
And I found her. And that was Shanta. She was down. Telling her stories.
Yeah.
Down at the African Festival. And I rushed to her as I always do and said, "My name is Velma Gladney, and I'm interested in storytelling." And guess what? She took me under her wings and she gave me some pointers. And I began, and then later on, somebody told me that it was such a thing as a National Black Storytelling Conference and Festival. I boarded a plane and I went to Kansas City. And there, I talked to Mother Mary, and she told me all about it. I saw Brother Karan, and he said, "Velma, go tell your story." And that was when I saw Mother Linda ringing those bells that you heard her ring tonight. Now, I've had the opportunity to tell stories. Schools, churches, museums, far away in South Africa, Israel. And what I would like to say, storytelling friends, yes. What I was afraid to embrace, it's called Facebook in the worldwide, where friends around the world wasted time on me because I always think I run out of time, but you know what, I'm going to tell you a little story called A Bundle of Troubles. Now, old Mose was burdened down with troubles. They was coming from the east, the west, the north, and the south, and he went to bed that night. And he twisted and he turned, and he twisted and he turned, and finally he fell asleep. And he had a dream. And in that dream, everybody was there talking about all them troubles. Everyone had a bigger trouble than the next one. Now the devil was over there listening. And they had the nerve to blame the devil for all these troubles. Yes, they did. So the devil decided, I'm going to help these folks get rid of all of these troubles. So he got up one Saturday morning. Nobody was expecting him. When everybody had gathered downtown, the devil went down there and he rang his bell. Everybody stopped in their tracks to listen and see what the devil had to say. And he said, now listen, folks, you all don't have time for nothing meaningful, because all you do is sit around and talk about your troubles. So now what I want you to do is to go home, put all them troubles in a bundle, and bring them down to the depot and check them in, and we're going to get rid of them once and for all. Now, old Mose didn't waste no time. He was walking real brisk. Yes, he was. He got home and he found a great big old paper box, and he started getting them troubles. Now, first thing he said, I'm going to put this arthritis and these bunions in here. I'm very glad to part with them. Then he decided, put his landlord in there. Picked his landlord up. And then he said, now what about these Visa, Master, and American Express? Put all them cards in there. Now don't forget, he put his nagging wife. And then he said that old show tooth and the old boy that was always giving him trouble, he put him in there. And then he just put a bunch of trials and tribulations, and he found a nice rope and he tied that package up, threw it on that pickup truck, and took it down to the depot. And when he got down to the depot, them little imps was checking all them bundles in. They checked them all in, and old Mose walked on back home, happy. But they gave him a stub before he started home. He said, what's this for? He said, well, this is how this is going to work. On Thursday, instead of you getting your troubles, you're going to get somebody else. Since all of them said they had their troubles was worse than the next. And he thought about it. He said, well, I guess that'll work. I may even get me a good-looking, fine wife. May even get some money out the deal. So old Mose went home, he sat on his porch, and he's sitting there smoking his pipe, and that thing round about can't see time. Mose got to thinking about that proposition that he had made. He said, you know, I don't know whether I like that deal or not. Old Mose put his hat on and he grabbed a smoking cane and he went back down there and he heard the devil laughing. Now remember, the devil don't let nobody get the best of him. He always is ahead of the game. So finally Mose got up the nerve to say, Mr. Devil, I made a serious mistake on yesterday. Turning my troubles in, could I get them back? And the devil said, get your troubles back. You can't get those troubles back. You know what? I believe your troubles may at this time be in the hands of somebody else. So, oh no, I need my troubles back. Well, the devil said, let me see that stub you got. And they looked at that stub, and Mose got scared as he could be, because he didn't want those problems. He said, Mr. Devil, please. Mr. Devil, please. Give me my troubles. And the devil kept thinking about it. He said, all right then. He said, I ain't nothing that with that arthritis old being gay can take care of. I can take care of that. And as far as them credit cards, I charged all that money vacationing down in them islands. I'm going to pay it. And then, you know, he had even put his church dues in there. He said, now, Pastor Crowder said, we must give a certain amount of money. I'm going to pay that money when I go to church. If you just give me my bundle of troubles back, I'm going to pay up. And as far as old boy, I'm going to get a firmer hand on him. Just give me my troubles back. And see, they no troubles. They weren't no troubles. They were just little worries. If you would just give me my troubles back, I'll be mighty happy. The devil looked at him and said, now listen. Now listen here. I'm going to give you your troubles back. And if I ever, in this lifetime here, you complain about your troubles, I'm going to sure enough give you some troubles. And guess what? Moses threw them troubles on his back like there was a bunch of feathers. And he went on home. Now they say that was Mr. Leroy. And you see, when they was going down there, it was all kind of people, and I forgot to tell you. They had all kind of people on that road. They had the Mexicans, the Japanese, the Chinese. They all was going down there with them troubles. Even the white folks had. And we didn't know they had no trouble. And Sister Tompkins had them, we didn't know she had none either, because she was one of them happy-go-lucky people. Always laughing and talking. But not only was she on that road, she had her 3 grandchildren. And each one of them grandchildren had one of them little red wagons. And that little red wagon was filled up with troubles. But I'm going to tell you, when the devil gave Moses all them troubles back, he threw them up on his back like a bunch of feathers, and he took them and he went on home and lived happily ever after. Thank you so much.